Dr. Asa Hilliard, an educational psychologist at Georgia State University, believes that control of blacks is systematic, following patterns which can be summarized as 1. Erasure of African historical memory, 2. Suppression of the practice of African thought in school curriculum and media, and 3. The control of institutions that socialize black people. Therefore, as Diop concluded in his scientific research, cultural connection is indeed linked to blood and DNA constructs. This mental process is full of polarities, often given psychological names or states of consciousness derived from tragic Greek mythology, which too often follows patterns of inferiority. Check out some of the Greek mythologies. This is the pattern: denial of reality, perception disorder, distortion, delusions of grandeur, phobias in face of difficulties, and projecting blame. That is Greek philosophy, the Greek tragic character. This perceptual imbalance impacts black men in American culture in a unique and particular way, leaving a further emotional imbalance in their homes and communities, because we buy into this. Elijah Muhammad had the Muhammad Speaks. There was a cartoon in Muhammad Speaks. It had 2 captions. It was a white lady walking into a bar with a cigarette in her mouth and her body parts showing. That was the first picture. And under that picture it said sin. The second picture had identical character, only it was a black woman. Cigarette in her mouth, walking into a bar, dragging her kid. And under that caption, Elijah Muhammad put the word shame. Sometimes shame may be worse than sin, because you're following something. You're following another thought. So I think this is what I'm trying to say. The theory of opposites is key in facilitating self-esteem to incarcerated black men, because the process of energizing and purification is complex and labyrinthian. Its tentacles crisscrossing many scientific and macro and micro theories. Prison subculture is full of macro theories of survival. Both inmate and facilitator will be engaged in this crucible of limited time and opportunities for personal growth. You don't have a lot of time to discuss change in your attitude while you're in prison. You don't have a lot of time. It has to be deep, it has to be serious, and it has to be ongoing. And it has to be purifying. The process of teaching in small groups can best facilitate this individual process. Again, even brothers in the yard, sometimes you can only walk in groups of 5 in the yard. If you get 6, the guard, at least the prison I worked at, they have the camera on you, like this camera's on me, and they will holler off there, break up that crowd. So the prison subculture, again, that's why this model is good for the prison subculture, because in the prison subculture, you have certain rules that are just rules. These macro theories are significant because they are consistent and coherent with the African American historical collective experience, and how this experience continues to shape self-esteem, evolve, and create a people, a culture, a way of life. Teaching black men self-esteem skills is a survival tactic. It is not an ideological announcement. Understanding major psychologies and psychiatric methodologies is key in discussing the black prison subculture experience. We must now turn our attention to key theories in both psychology and psychiatry. I am looking at theories of change. How do black men change in this subculture? let's continue to look at some of the theories in psychology and psychiatry. Psychologists Carl Rogers and Carl Jung both offer fresh insight into the dynamics of personality change. Carl Rogers' concept of individuation presents the best model facilitators can use in the prison setting in small group format. Dr. Rogers' theory of individuation is based on the theory of opposites. This theoretical framework is similar to that of psychologist Carl Jung, who advocated one looking at the hidden or dark or shadow side of their personalities in order to release a new perspective and a new balance. Both Rogers and Jung use small group dynamics where the ego or the inner self-development is reflective of this ancient fact of the living process. Carl Jung says the therapist does not have to surrender a leadership role in these small groups. He contends that because therapists have been through these experiences before, because I can identify with what you're talking about, they become models of strength which the younger men can rely on for guidance. Understanding comes through suffering.